What is up, everybody? So, I didn't think I'd be doing like a movie review anytime soon, considering that I just went through 31 fucking little mini movie reviews. But I just saw the Mortuary Collection, and man, I need to talk about it because it is very, very good. I was super surprised. I've seen a lot of people talk really well about it. I saw, Neil and Alex from BTV and quite a few others out there on the Twitterverse talk about this movie, little here and there, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I thought it might be interesting at least. Like, I love anthology movies. If there's one thing that I really do enjoy and I wish there were more of, are anthology films. Some of them are bad, some of them are good, and some are just kind of mediocre. So, like last night, we watched Tales of Halloween. I think that's what it was called, if my Heloise reminds me right. I also watched a lot of Simpsons today, which is weird for this recording on Halloween. But it was, that was one of those films that was just kind of like, it had a couple of good segments to it, but it felt like they were trying to cram like 75 fucking stories in one full-length movie. And then, the first two Creep shows, I think, are fantastic and some of the best anthologies that are out there. And there's quite a few others. I like the one I did last night. All the Creatures Were Stirring. Why did I almost forget that? That podcast I did last year with the Fair Merchant, I thought that was a pretty good one. It had one or two that were kind of meh, but the rest of them were pretty good. But this one, I think that even the first one, which is more like an introduction story, all of them were knockouts, man. The first one was super, super quick, and I was afraid I was getting what I got last night, but it was still entertaining. Like, it was just a quick moralistic story that went through. And I like the main narrative of the movie. I thought that was really good. The second one was a great play on the patriarchy and everything that goes with that. The third one was just heartbreaking. Like, I felt so bad for Wendell when watching that one. And then the last one had a twist that I didn't see coming and I thought was really fantastic. I was extremely surprised with the way that one went. It really was a movie that I thought I was just going to get one or two good stories out of. Maybe one that you really like. And then the other one's going to be like, okay. Not too bad, not terrible, but it moved along. If I have to rank them in order from what I like the most, I think it's actually the second story is my favorite. And it has something in there I didn't ever think I'd see on any type of movie anywhere, and lo and behold, I saw it here. Then I would go with the third story, I'd go with the second, I'd go with the first. But you have to believe me when I say that all of the big stories are really good. And the first one is not as bad as maybe it might seem, or just because it's so quick, I don't think there's enough to really talk about when you're looking at that movie, or that one little segment. But the overarching stuff is great. The effects are pretty good. It looks like there's some practical effects in here, but most of it, of course, is just computer generated, but they spent some good time on it. And I think that they were all effective. I like what happens towards the end of the movie with the books and the library. I'm trying to do this without any spoilers. I'd love to spoil the shit out of this thing and just talk about everything that I loved in this movie. But there is one scene with the TV that the shot that happens after when it's used is fucking beautiful and brilliant. I love the way that looks. It just made me giggle with glee, and I even think I haven't said out loud, that's a beautiful fucking shot. There were some other great shots in the second story to really see how heartbreaking everything was for poor Wendell, and it's just a bunch of bad decisions that the other overarching character, there's two characters that show up, and one shows up the whole movie, technically three, I guess, when I think about it, because the girl Sam, she's also throughout the whole movie. But in terms of connected stories, The Doctor shows up in, I think, everyone except for the first, unless that's his voice that's being heard through the bathroom door in the beginning of it. And it might possibly be. And that would be phenomenal if it was. And he's definitely in one of the segments that starts everything. And I did not realize that until we got to the third segment, and I was like, wait, that's him? Oh, okay, I should have been paying more attention at the beginning of the movie. So the Doctor and the Mortician, those are the two that kind of run throughout the movie. But the Doctor is more of just like a pop-in character, even though he has a bigger part in the second one. And in the first real segment, he's kind of like comic relief for a bit of it. I just like, the more I think about the second segment, I think I like it better than the third. I think those two are tied, honestly. It's hard for me to say the exact favorite, one out of all of them. I think I do really like the first full segment, the best out of everything. I just like the way the story went. I kind of like the comeuppance. I still don't know what the moral of that story is, other than the main one that they touch on. But I think there's something more to it when it comes to like the revelation of what he used to be when he was younger. That I don't like so much. I think I need another watching of that story to really kind of get into the meat of it and to understand it. So overall, I think that if you have Shudder, this is definitely worth a watch. If you don't have Shudder and you have a way to watch it, I think that it's worth a watch. If you're able to rent it out there, I think it's worth a rental. Or when it becomes available on DVD, I think it's worth a buy. I think that you'll get a lot of mileage out of it. This could easily be, for me, an annual tradition around Halloween to watch this movie. And it might even be, I keep thinking of themes. I have to think of themes almost like a year in advance for Halloween, because I need to see, one, if I can do it, two, if I can, get it, not for just the 31 and 31, but for all the podcasts for the month. And I think that maybe an anthology month might be in order for next year, but I guess we'll see. So thank you guys very much for watching. Everybody that watched, participated, gave comments on anything over all the different platforms that reacted to all the 31 and 31 reviews. Really appreciate it. Please go out there and check out the Halloween podcast. It's available as a video podcast on the YouTube channel. Just because it's long, I mean, it's actually the shortest podcast I've done in a long time, at like an hour and 45 minutes. This whole month's been like 3-hour podcasts, and I finally got one in the sweet spot, and it was just to basically talk about a movie. But please go check out the Halloween podcast. I'm going to make it available up there instead of the normal like little playlist on some of the other ones, because I think everybody should check it out if you haven't checked it out already, or download it on all your favorite podcasting platforms from iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, Castbox, Amazon Podcasts, wherever the fuck you can find a podcast, you'll find the Terrible Terror podcast. And I'm going to give this movie a raucous 4 out of 5 burnt children. I think that it's just so good that it deserves your watch. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. So we'll see you next time on one of these, I guess, plain old movie reviews. So thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you later.